Good morning. Did I say that out loud? Good morning. Yay, good morning. Great to see you all. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. And thank you to those of you that are with us online this morning. We're glad that you're here as well. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here. As usual, I am thrilled and delighted that you're here today. Happy day after Dia de los Muertos to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. We are a congregation that believes in welcome and community, so that's how we begin. So I'm going to invite you to stand up, walk around, greet each other, introduce yourself to anybody that you haven't met yet, welcome people back, and just make everybody feel welcome, generally speaking. And those of you at home, give yourselves a hug. Pour yourself another cup of coffee, get comfy. In just a few minutes, we'll be singing our opening song. We'll be right back with you. All right, come on back. Yes, wonderful, thank you. So this morning, we have the music of Daniel Nahmod, and I need to tell you some things as we get to certain songs, because Daniel's introduction was really long, so I didn't keep all of the introduction, but I will say something about them to you for the ones that he did introduce so that you get some of that story. But this first song is My Soul is Welcome Here. So it starts off saying, I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. And I often tell my people on Sunday morning, whether you know it or not, you're here by divine appointment. And I'm grateful that you kept your appointment this morning. Now that's true, even if you came in by accident or because someone coerced you into coming or dragged you here. You're still here by divine appointment, those of you online too. And so we're here together in this unique configuration that has never happened before, anywhere. This specific group of people. So what that means to me is that whatever we're doing here this morning together, we're here because we all have need of it, and also because we're all essential to contributing to this morning's experience what we need. So please stand and let's sing together and bring our voices together as one voice with My Soul is Welcome Here. The words will be on the screen for you. And this is Daniel Nahmod, who has sold over 100,000 CDs. And
hey, Golden Gate, it's Daniel Nahmod. Happy first Sunday in November. Let's sing something together. You ready? Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Nice job.
Yes. Thank you, Daniel. So this is a time to go ahead and silence your cell phone and prepare to enter into consciousness with the community together in preparation for the music and the message and our exchange of energy this morning. So I'm inviting my morning practitioner, my platform practitioner, Leslie Giannetti, up to do our opening for us now.
Just turning within to our sacred center, I bring my full recognition to the magnificent all in all, infinite life. This one and only power is the light of eternity. It is the power that keeps the planets in their orbit, the earth on its axis. It is the power that breathes the breath through all of humanity and beats the heart within each one. The rhythm of the universe is in each one. Each one is a unique and individualized expression of the one infinite life. And right now in this moment, the infinite life is seeking greater self-expression by means of each one. It is calling forth a new way of being. So I speak my word for each one, and I claim an opening in consciousness which allows and receives all the power of the universe itself to come forth through ideas and thoughts, through the mind, through the heart, that there is absolutely no separation between this one magnificent all in all and each individual. And allowing for this and opening up to what wants to come through is the vitality, the inspiration, the divine love, which is the divine inheritance of each one, and claiming it in the heart and in the mind is claiming the most ideal self-expression, the most fulfilling life, and the most deepest wisdom, and the most acute intimacy. This one life is filling each one right now. It's filling this service today. It is expressing through every word that Mary speaks this morning. So I give thanksgiving for what will be revealed today and what will be known and recognized as divine love. And I release my word to the law of mind, which embraces my word into itself, bringing it into form for the highest possible good, and so it is.
Thank you, Leslie.
Am I nervous? Of course I am. You don't even have to ask. Chasing a mystery, anyone would be. One more step and it's out of my hands. There can be no turning back. Can't say what's in front of me, but you know I can't wait to see. This is something I owe to myself. This is something I've just gotta do. I don't know what I'll find, but there's one thing I know about my life. It's gotta be, yeah, it's just gotta be true. I remember, of course I do, how I used to hear my heart, what I most want to be, what I most long to see, but that voice has faded so far away. I hardly recognize myself. What happened to me? No wonder I couldn't breathe. This is something I owe to myself. This is something I've just gotta do. I don't know what I'll find, but there's one thing I know about my life. It's gotta be, yeah, it's just gotta be true. It's been a lifelong habit, gave away my power, playing follow the leader again and again. But my soul won't have it, I won't hide or cower. I'm ready to dive back in. This is something I owe to myself. This is something I've just gotta do. I don't care what I find, 'cause there's one thing I know about my life. It's gotta be, it's just gotta be true. It's gotta be true. It's gotta be true.
Thank you, Daniel. A grand rising, that's our theme for 2024 throughout all of the Centers for Spiritual Living, recognizing a growth in consciousness. And this month, we're talking about abundance is already ours. It's already ours. So when we're looking into any of those areas where we're feeling a lack of abundance, the lack of abundance, to whatever degree we're experiencing it, that's what we're creating an abundance of, is lack. You can create an abundance of anything. And my theory is that all we know how to create is abundance. We're always creating abundance. It could be an abundance of conflict, or an abundance of troubles, or it could be an abundance of joy, or an abundance of family and cooperation in all good ways. But we're always producing more of something. We're always producing more of something. And to the degree that we begin to experience appreciation and gratitude for the abundance that we have, we're not going to build on that. So we start where we are, and we bring our attention to what's wonderful, what's delightful, what's incredible, what's amazing in our lives. And we dwell on that. And we let ourselves savor it and get into the deliciousness of it, because that's what attracts more of it to ourselves. Now, the flip side of that works the same way. The more we push away, the more we resist, the more we're irritated and angry and frustrated and finding fault, the more of that we get. Maybe we enjoy being the discerning one who sees every detail that's wrong. But if that's the case, we get the opportunity to find more things that are wrong, because that's exactly how the universe works. It doesn't care what we're multiplying. It just produces, because that's what it's designed to do. So it operates on our consciousness and produces more of that. So we have abundance. That's not the issue. The issue is recognizing the abundance we have that we love and dwelling on that. So this morning, what I want to talk about is the abundance power in your voice, or in my voice. And I'm talking about all the ways that we express ourselves in words and in thoughts, more so than in actions today. We're going to talk about words and thoughts, recognizing that we have more power in what we say and what we dwell on than we realize. And that power affects us as our vocal vibration runs through our bodies, but it also affects other people as that vibration runs through them, as they hear us, because when they hear us, they're receiving the actual sound waves in their own head, in their own body. So they're taking us in. Maybe the content of what we say is in another language, but the vibration of what we mean is still being communicated to that brain. We're not, as ministers, necessarily more skilled at this than anybody else. So I heard a story about a couple of ministers who decided they were going to take a Saturday off and go fishing. And they went out to do that, and they got into their little rowboat. They went out to the middle of the lake. They got their fishing poles baited and everything. They were ready to go. And then they heard this guy who was back on the beach, on the shore of the lake, praying out loud. And he was trying to say the Lord's Prayer, but not very well. He would get words and phrases mixed up. He was saying things out of order. He was using, in some cases, the wrong word. Maybe the word was the opposite of what he was trying to convey. And they tried to ignore him and just fish. But you know, they're ministers. They were used to teaching the prayer. They were used to teaching people to do it and have people do it over and over correctly. So they couldn't stand it. So they decided this was awful. This was terrible that this guy was doing this and didn't know what he was doing, and they couldn't just let him go on like that. So they rowed back in to the shore, and they spent quite a bit of time teaching him the Lord's Prayer, doing it over and over with him, because we know how powerful repetition is. So doing it over and over with him to try and get it right. Then they were having him say parts of it and try and make sure, correct him. And they thought, okay, now he just needs to practice. So they said, okay, you're doing okay now. You keep saying that over and over again until you can get it without the pauses, until you really have all the words down. Great, he said, fine, thank you, Reverend. I'm so appreciative. I really appreciate your help. They got back in their boat. They row back out to the middle of the lake. They get their fishing poles ready, back in the water. They're having a lovely time. They're there in the quiet, you know, just fishing. And then they hear this squishing sound. And one of them says, look at that. And here's the guy they had been talking to. He's coming out to them walking across the surface of the lake. And as he gets closer, he says, hey, fellas, could you tell me, what's that second line? How does that go again? It wasn't the words themselves that were the prayer. It was the presence. And yet, when they heard the words he was saying, it threw them off. They missed it, that he was in the presence. All they got was the wrong words, because that's what they were looking for. That was what they heard, the abundance of mistakes, because they were tuned to that. They didn't pick up until the end the consciousness with which this fellow was saying this prayer. And it's possible that we do that. We overlook the important content for the details of how something is getting done, and we're finding ourselves on the wrong side of the whole story. So when I say your voice has power, I mean it in a number of different ways. I mean the content and the choices of the words, yes, but I also mean the consciousness, the presence, and the vibration of the words themselves. You know, when someone is sarcastic, the words sound like one thing, but the meaning is the opposite, and you know that when you hear it, because you can tell what sarcasm sounds like, right? Yeah. We know if anybody ever had a brother or a sister who was older, you know what sarcasm sounds like. And so the question then becomes, well, why is it then that our voices have power? You know, voices are amazing in that, just like your fingerprint or your iris scan or your tongue print, your vocal imprint is different from everyone else's, everyone who ever lived. Now, you know, we as human beings, they have guesstimates about how many hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever it is, different tones on the vibratory scale we can actually hear. You know, elephants can hear much lower, and they can communicate in much lower tones than we can hear. Dogs and cats cannot communicate in higher frequencies, but they can hear higher frequencies than we hear. And we won't even talk about bats who can hear their own muscles moving, because that seems really unpleasant. But so we hear a certain range vibrationally. And then some of it is out of our auditory range, but the vibrations are still there. I suspect that on a visceral level that is subtle, we may become aware of those vibrations too, even though we don't hear them. That there's some part of us that picks up on the fact that there is vibration happening around us. The The thing that we're aware of is that the law, the creative law, is coded to produce. That's what it does. That's what it knows how to do. And it is continually in operation. So the vibration of our thought or our words is part of what sets that law into motion. The law is, to our minds, very literal. So what we put out is what it brings back to us. But there are overtones and undertones to that as well. The law is always active. That is the aspect of God in us as us that's always busy. And the thing about it is that it's unstoppable. It's happening all the time. It's irresistible. It's constantly going on. And it isn't up to us to make it work, because it's going to work whether we want it to or not, whether we're actively engaged in trying to make it do something or not. It's going to be working. It's not up to us to make it work, but it is up to us to point it in a direction. And absent our consciousness pointing it in a direction, it just goes along the line of whatever our vibrational thought or words are. It just follows that right along, as if that was our intention, even though it might not be. In Living the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, the founder of Centers for Spiritual Living, says, the power that is within you is the power of your word operated on by law. This power is not so much a will as it is a willingness. You will never have to will things to happen. You will merely have to know that they are happening. That's the key. You know, I used to joke with people when I was involved in ordinations or involved in induction of new practitioners, that I wished as a young minister that one of my graduating gifts had been a wand, so that when people came to me with any kind of need or pain, I could just, bap them with the wand and it would resolve it. The truth is, I was, and so were you. Not when I graduated from the School of Ministry, but when we were born, we were given a magic wand. The magic wand is learning how the law works and how to use it, and then practicing that. They didn't send Harry Potter to Hogwarts fully formed. They sent him there to learn how to do what he was there to do. So when we learn how to do spiritual mind treatment, we're given, in essence, a magic wand. We're given a tool that says, if you want to create a change, use this. And yet, do we? I think a lot of us wish more than we know, more than we treat, more than we accept in willingness, a manifestation of something that we have aimed toward. And learning how to use it also means understanding what we've been entrusted with is a tool to bring about the highest good. The highest good, not just for ourselves alone, because if we recognize that God is all there is, as Ram Dass said once, it's not God and Dorothy, it's God and then God showing up as Dorothy, or God showing up as Ram Dass, or God showing up as Dave. That presence then is creating through this law, and we're given carte blanche to use it. But when we use it with less than the highest good in mind, its results can go a little wonky on us. We might not like them so much. So in using the law, Holmes says, and this is from this thing called You, this calls for faith and understanding. A complete conviction that God is right where you are, that life is speaking through you, and that the law of life is obeying your will, or I might say in this case, your voice, your word. Words without this awareness have no power. Well, that's not really true. They have the power to screw things up a lot. He says they have no power, but he's meaning they have no power to bring about what you want if you're not living in that authentic conviction, if you're not speaking your word with authority, if you're not directing the law by claiming the highest truth and doing it with confidence and with faith. He says, spiritual awareness is the healing agency loosed through your word. Now that's a lot of power. That is the tool. That is the magic wand. And it's as if we've been given to it, but we're not willing to practice to use it. We just want to be able to wave it and, without knowing what we're doing, have it do whatever it is we think we want. But that's not how it works. There isn't anything that we as human beings use that we don't need to practice to get better at, usually. You ever see some little kid try to use a knife to slice something with for the first or second time? Everybody's very nervous about letting them use a sharp knife. They are surrounded by people trying to help and guide them, maybe even holding their hand, trying to be careful, make sure they don't cut something important while they're cutting the whatever it is, the fruit or the whatever it might be. So our voice, our words are powerful, not because we make them do the work they're supposed to do, but because by sending them out with conviction and energy and emotion and confidence, we send them to do a job. And it's clear what the job is, and we're clear about the consciousness, the presence in which we're using that word. That's where the real power comes from. And as Ernest Holmes says, and I'm paraphrasing this, something like, a trained mind is much more powerful than an untrained mind. Now, what that means is that if you are trained and you are practicing, that you should be careful about what you claim or what you say or what you're thinking, because you're more likely to have the law come and smack you if you're off track. Because you're trained, and that means that you're trained to speak with confidence and power. So when you're ranting and raving about something, you may want to be careful about that, because you're sending it forth with the same energy and power that you do when you're clear. Are you with me here? Is this making sense? Our voice, our word, has power. And it's important then that we are mindful about how we're using that voice. Randall Wright said, well, first I want to say thank you to Don Miguel Ruiz for the first agreement of the 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. Now, when he says be impeccable with your word, he is saying don't dilute it. Speak with integrity. Say what you mean and mean what you're saying. Don't use your word against yourself or anybody else by gossiping or poking at people, but use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. I have a friend who studied with Don Miguel Ruiz, and she was just talking with him, and they were having a lively conversation, and then she made a comment about one of the other students. It was not a heavy-duty statement of judgment, but it was kind of a discerning observation about this other student's experience or something that was going on or growth. And without a word, he turned and walked away. He ceased to participate in that conversation, not as a smack, but just, no, I'm not going to choose to engage in this. He didn't say it. He just walked away like the conversation was over. And this student, this friend of mine, got it right away, got it immediately, because the length of time of studies had been long enough that that was an understood thing. Speak with integrity. And she recognized that she wasn't being impeccable with her word in that moment. The more we know, the more we're held to account for what we say and what we do and what we mean. So Randall Wright said, have you ever stopped to consider the power of words? Through mere words, wars have started and ended. Tender feelings have been hurt and soothed. Courage has been instilled and fear has been implanted. Lives have been destroyed and others changed for the better. Think back on your own life when words have hurt you deeply or have comforted and given you strength and hope to do better. Words have power. We don't realize sometimes how much of a difference we make in somebody's life by something that we've said to them. You know, there's a story in the Bible where Jesus says to his followers, you know, don't carry a grudge you have with somebody along with your gift to give it at the altar. Now, I'm paraphrasing, of course. You know, don't think you're going to go and set down your gift at the altar and hang on to this grudge, and that's not going to affect the receiving of your gift by the infinite. No, he said, go to your brother, deal with this first. Deal with this grudge, get rid of that. Then go back and give your gift at the altar. Come clear in consciousness to the presence. Now, maybe what we're coming with to the presence is we're really upset and we have a grudge against somebody and we want the help of the law to transform our own consciousness. That's a different kind of prayer. That's not trying to hang on to hate while we declare love, because we can't really do both those things very well. The degree to which we hang on to our grudges is the degree to which we're blocked from experiencing the love that's present already for us, the abundance that's there, because we've put in place in our consciousness a filter that blocks some of that out because we've put somebody out of our heart. You with me here? So your word, and this is Florence Scovel Shinn, who wrote The Game of Life and How to Play It. She says your word is your wand. The words you speak create your destiny. And so we want to cast our spell. We want to use our wand as a blessing, not as a curse. We want to enter something into the vibrational consciousness of the whole that is uplifting rather than dampening. We want to use our words by treating them as sacred, as powerful, as holy, as meaningful, and send them out into the world to do that instead. You know, it's interesting how our bodies receive information. Our eyes are interpreting wavelengths. The brain interprets what the eyes are receiving. We're getting them backwards and upside down, and the brain is turning it around and figuring out the meaning. The same thing is true with our hearing. We're receiving, our eardrums and all the little things in there are receiving sound waves and identifying them. The brain is telling you whose voice it is, right? How many of you can hear a parent's voice in your head, even though they're long gone? How many of you can hear a parent's voice right now? Yeah. That vibration not only went in through your eardrums, it made an actual impression in your brain somehow that you retained. That voice, you would know it if you heard it again, even though in this life you probably won't. So the vibration is encoded not just with who that is, but also with the meaning in their tone and the meaning in the words. There are layers and layers of what's getting communicated in that vibration that's going out. And so when we do that thoughtlessly, and it's vibrating in somebody else's head, and they're carrying that around with them, you know, we're responsible for what we've planted out there, even though we didn't mean to, or we didn't intend for it to have that impact on somebody. Maya Angelou said, someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think, she said, I think they are things. Ernest Holmes said this, thoughts are things. She said, I think they are things. They get on the walls. They get in your wallpaper. They get in your rugs, in your upholstery, in your clothes, and finally into you. And Paramahansa Yogananda said, words saturated with sincerity, conviction, faith, and intuition are like highly explosive vibration bombs, which when set off, shatter the rocks of difficulties and create the change desired. He's speaking about a word spoken with power. The vibration, it was Paul Pearsall, who had a heart transplant, who said, the reason they can measure your heartbeat without opening up your body to put something right on the heart is because the vibration of the heartbeat can be measured outside the body, on the skin. But his point is, it doesn't stop at the skin. The vibration gets subtler and subtler, and it continues out into the universe. So the words we think have a vibration too. It's very, very, very subtle. But it is a vibration that does not stay in our head. It continues outward, just like our heartbeat. It continues out into the universe. And the words we say, even more so, because they're audible, so they get communicated. It's not just human beings who hear our words and pick up meaning. Our pets do too. They learn certain words, they're able to learn certain words, but also they hear the tone, they hear the vibration. If our cats are trying to scratch on the rug and I say, hey, they know immediately. There's a very quick stopping and tearing away as soon as they hear that, hey. They pick up on the tone. It's not the word, it's the tone. And they know our voices. They recognize who we are. I recently saw something on one of the social media platforms about if your pet is lost and you know roughly where they were lost, leave a piece of your clothing there, wherever that was, outdoors. And they gave an example that somebody did that, and the next morning they went back to that area and their dog was sitting on that piece of clothing right there. I never would have thought of that. But the vibration of the smell, and I don't know that it's a vibration. They say they're little odor molecules that have, it's like a lock and key, that odor molecule fits into something. So I guess in the dog's nose, in the dog's head, that molecule has your name on it. I don't know. But I think of it as vibrations still. Smell vibrations. Some people can't stand the taste of cilantro. Do you hate cilantro? Raise your hand if you hate cilantro. Few people. And that's because you pick up on certain aldehydes that other people don't taste, and it makes it taste like soap. Now, I love cilantro. Fortunately, I don't read those aldehydes. I'm glad for that. But my nose reads paper whites as cat urine. And so I can't have them in the house. They look beautiful, but my nose has a very specific idea about what they smell like. Anybody else have trouble with paper whites? Am I the only one? Okay, a few other people. Yeah, most people love them. For me, not so good. I'm looking for where was the cat? So our brains are attuned to these things. And yes, we have variations in them, but our particular vibration of voice communicates a lot out into the universe, and it affects where it's received. Just like we are being affected by everybody in this room. Whatever you're thinking right now, the rest of us are getting the vibration. We may not know what you're thinking, and thank God for that, but the vibration, your presence, there's a feeling to it. And it's the same with somebody's voice. We recognize the voice. We associate good things or bad things with it. We associate happiness or frustration or whatever it is when we hear that voice. Yeah? That's one of our expressions of intimacy, is having somebody else's voice in our head, in our ears, hearing not only what they have to say, but getting the vibration. So the vibrations of sound, those sound vibration waves, they do travel beyond their source, and even very subtle waves could be felt and perceived even though they're not heard. I love this little story. I want to share this with you. There was once a wise sage who wandered the countryside. One day as he passed a village, he was approached by a woman who told him of a little girl who lived nearby who was very ill, and she beseeched him to come and help this child. So the sage came to the village, and a crowd gathered around him, for a holy man was a rare sight. A woman brought the sick child to him, and he said a prayer over her. And then a man from the crowd yelled, "Do you really think your prayer will help her when medicine has failed? You know nothing of such things. You are a stupid fool," the sage said to him in reply. The man became very angry at these words, and his face grew hot and red. He was just about to say something, or perhaps strike out, when the sage walked over to him and said kindly, "If one word has the power to make you so angry and hot, may not another word have the power to heal?" And thus the sage healed 2 people that day. The recognition that words have power, that sometimes you say something to another person that turns everything around for them in that moment, and you may never even remember that you said it. It could be years, and they might come over to you and say, "You know, you said something to me that really made a difference in my life, and it was this." And you think, "I said that?" You have no idea, because it wasn't something at the time that stuck with you. There's a story of a little bird who is flying in the snow, and as the bird, let's say it's voting time, and the little bird lands nearby someone who is in a conversation with this little bird and saying, "Well, I'm not going to vote. I mean, you know, what difference is my voice going to make? One vote, it doesn't make any difference. Why bother?" And the little bird said to him, "You see these snowflakes that are falling? They weigh hardly anything at all. And yet, as they accumulate on the branches of these trees, there will be one snowflake that falls, and it will be the one that causes the branch to break. That one snowflake. Now, if that's the weight of one snowflake, imagine the weight of one voice, one single voice." And with that, she flew away. It matters. Our voices have power. Our voices matter. Now, of course, I'm coming around to Tuesday is election day, and you may or may not have voted, and you may have thought, you know, really, what difference is it going to make? This is California. I know how it's going to go. They don't need my vote, or my vote isn't going to make any difference, or why should I bother? Bother. You never know. Your voice needs to be heard for the whole to have been expressed fully. That's a vibration that you're carrying anyway. You might as well go ahead and vote and let it have its weight, that one vote, that one voice. It may be very important, that one voice. We never know. So I encourage you, whatever your perspective is, to be the voice that speaks up, to be the voice that gets weighed. And that way, we can let go into what comes next and go forward together, knowing that in good faith, We used our word with impeccability. We spoke our truth. And once we've put our truth out there with love and confidence, we let it unfold. That's what we do. And also, regardless of what the result is, we call it good. We call it good, and we work toward greater good. We start wherever we are, and we go forward toward the greater vision, because there's always a greater vision. And if it wasn't important for us to be here, we wouldn't be. We'd be off on another planet, or we'd be in the ethers, or we'd be doing something else, but we're here. So use the wand, speak your word, let it go. Understand the results are collective, and we bless them in advance with the highest good we possibly can. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. So let's anchor this within now. In recognizing that the divine presence is in every single person, not only in this place, but everywhere. And always has been, and always will be, because there's only one. That one expresses in infinite different ways, different colors, different textures, different vibrations, different opinions. But as it is expressed from our core, it comes forth with the greatest power of truth. So we recognize the power we are endowed with is holy. And we use it with wisdom. We use it in love, in peace, not in resistance, but in claiming, in calling forth, in aligning with, in stepping up, and doing so with confidence and courage and joy, seeing the greater vision, the higher light. This is our essence. This is our truth. All appearances fall away as the truth shines brightly, vibrates powerfully, is communicated widely. We're deeply grateful to remember this power of the creative law in us. We are honored with the freedom to use it, and we use it wisely and lovingly and well. We bless all of the votes that are cast by everyone everywhere. We give thanks for that great gift that has been given and received and expressed with the love and the power with which it was born in us. Knowing this is the case, then we bless this election and its results right now. We bless all of the people everywhere, regardless of their beliefs or their information source or their background, regardless of their faith or their lack of it. We are honored with the wholeness that is taking place in this process, the sacredness of it, and the power within our word, not only to vote, but with our knowing the spiritual truth. So we send this word out into the creative law now, and we send it and direct it to do its work in the world for the highest and best result of all people in all countries, at all times, everywhere. And we are deeply grateful and thankful that this is possible and occurring right now. We know it, we live it, we claim it, we are that. We let it go in love. And together we say, and so it is. Please stand and join me for the morning affirmation. As we say together, I know when I voice or act on my values, I am standing in integrity. When I learn more, I'm willing to change my mind, and I claim this right for others too. We are all choosing the best we understand, So I choose with love and wisdom now. And so it is. You may be seated. This is our sacred giving time, so I invite the ushers to come forward now to prepare to receive the offering. And for all those that are online, any of you that would like to contribute today to Golden Gate, that would honor us, and we would be so grateful. You can do that by texting the dollar amount of your gift to the number that's on the screen, and then just following the directions. And for all of you who have given during this past week, who have prayed for Golden Gate, for all of you in the room who have volunteered or served or given in some way, we're blessing all of those gifts as well as everything financial being given in the room this morning. And we are blessing ourselves because we too are God in action, and we too are the gift to be blessed and given. So we're going to bless our offerings in this way. I invite you to hold your gift over your heart or in your hands with a loved one if you're giving it together, as we say together, "This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time." And so it is. Yes, go ahead. And this song that Daniel is about to sing, he wrote when his friend Nemo, the rap artist from India, was visiting him. And Nemo liked this song, so they did a bit of it with a rap from Nemo in it too. So you're going to hear that as well.
I cannot build a castle or bridge. I cannot build a tower to the sky. I cannot build the humblest home without a cornerstone. I cannot walk adrift in this world. I cannot sail the infinite ocean. I cannot climb a mountain alone without a cornerstone. Cornerstone. Something solid, something true, something never moving beneath me, something ancient, something new, on which I can rest completely.
Yeah. Life ain't gonna stop, and either is the pain. Sometimes I get caught up, drowning in the rain. So my mind tries to take control again, but the bumps and bruises give me adrenaline. The journey isn't known, and I've never had a plan. So I keep trying to get up with my own hands and my heart on my own, and keep coming back to my cornerstone.
Something solid, something true, something never moving beneath me, something ancient, something new, on which I can rest completely. I cannot go where I've never been.
Every time I get caught with my
I cannot do
gonna find it.
the work that's mine to
Just
do.
gotta keep faith. And
I cannot climb that mountain alone without a cornerstone.
turn it all around. Just gotta keep faith. And I hear
I'll
it
never
going down.
know the meaning of home without a cornerstone.
So we here, all of us, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, send this offering, we accept this offering and we send it out into the world to be a vibration of love and transformation everywhere that it goes. And so it is. For those of you who are with us for the first time this morning, you'll find all kinds of handouts at this table back behind you here and packets that say welcome on them, and those are for you. Those welcome packets have different stuff in them, but also they have a blue welcome card. And if you fill that out and give it to Amanda back there, she's going to give you a little book as our thank you gift for coming today and our invitation to you to please come back and be with us often in the future. So hopefully whenever you see that little book or open it up and look for an uplifting thought, it'll remind you of us and you'll be invited to come on back. Also, I want to thank the Frost family for our wonderful altar this morning, which celebrates home and Halloween and Samhain and Dia de los Muertos, and pumpkins. And also, we want to acknowledge everybody that was involved this morning in getting everything set up and ready to go. So let's acknowledge the whole team of people who did that. We have a workshop coming up on December 8th with Dr. Wendy Lyon, how and why to cultivate friendships after age 50. So if you're over age 50 or you're just curious, makes no difference. You can sign up for this workshop. You can register now online. If you just go to our website, go to the classes and events tab, whatever that's called, and you'll find the place where you can register, pre-register for that. It's going to be from 1 to 3:30 at our office in San Rafael. It's $25, so you can register and pay right through our website online. And there will be a snack break. Dr. Wendy really wants to make sure that we have snacks. I think maybe she wants the snacks, and that's why we're having a snack break, but I like the idea. So that's coming up on the 8th, and there's a sign-up sheet back there if you're interested in letting us know that you're interested in coming, but you don't have to sign up back there if you go ahead and register through the website. Also remember that you have only 2 days to let Ellen know if you want to participate at the food bank this month, which is coming up on the 12th of November from noon to 2. It's just 2 hours packing food that can go out to the distribution centers. Ellen is right here in the front in this blue sweater this morning, and so please talk to Ellen if you would like to do that, or immediately today when you go home, email or text her and give her all of your contact info so that she can get back to you and the food bank can get back to you and let you know what's what, all right? Also, along the lines of food, we need food here too. We need food on Sundays. We love food. We're big on food. So we invite you to sign up to bring snacks. And you can sign up for a particular Sunday, like the 3rd Sunday of the month or the 2nd Sunday of the month, and then 12 times, well, not even 12 times, this is just for about a 4-month period. So 4 times, maybe 5, you would bring snacks to contribute to the Sunday morning snacks and just bring them to the kitchen, plated and ready to go. If you're able to do that, if you're willing to do that, once a month, sign up back at the events table. We would love that. And those go through January, and then we'll do the spring signups. Also, we are still holding space for our music director. In fact, we have a fellow who's going to do some music for us one of the Sundays in December. So that'll be kind of his checking out what you think of him. He's been here once and he thinks we're pretty cool, so he wants to see what we think of him. So that'll be interesting. Keep envisioning music happening live up here. We look forward to that. And finally, I want to remind you that not only do we have our prayer table where you can put a request in the box, or you can make a prayer request from our website itself, but you can also sign up at this table to get a practitioner to telephone you and do a short prayer like the ones we do following the service. If you can stay after service, come and get a prayer from Leslie or Ann. Leslie is only going to be available for a short little window there, because immediately after the service, she and I are going to gather with any of you that are feeling particularly nervous about the election, and we're going to do a circle together just to kind of put that to rest a little bit. So we invite you to join us in a circle. Everything else is going to get put away. So, if you want coffee and snacks, please get those before you come to the circle. And we just welcome anybody who's interested to join us there. All right. So, practitioners, would you please surround the room now as we do our closing prayer, and then we'll have everybody stand and join us in the blessing and the closing song. So we know together right here and now that we are in sacred space and time. The air is charged with that vibration of sacred space and time, affecting every one of us in this room and lifting our vibration right now. We cooperate with that. We intentionally move upward in consciousness right now to allow ourselves a greater vision, a deeper wholeness, a more complete heart connection with all that is, Knowing the truth of the essence of all that is, regardless of appearance, we send forth love and light to every corner of the world and deep into ourselves, into our own minds and hearts and bodies and thoughts and prayers and words. We let this vibration do its work in us to bring forward that love and forgiveness, that confidence and faith and peace of mind. We're so grateful to know that this power is in us to choose right now, and so we do. And we let this prayer go into the law knowing that it is done now. And together we say, and so it is. Now please stand and join us for the closing blessing and song. And I have to say, Daniel had a lot to say about this song. And so I'll give you the short version. His grandmother escaped the Nazis from Poland, his bubby. And when she was quite old and she was in a nursing home, Daniel would come and do concerts for the elderly folks there in the nursing home. And he would do the Great American Songbook, all kinds of songs. But every single time, she wanted him to end with this song, written by another Jew as a love song to America. And so that's what he wants us to sing together right now. And let him tell you about that.
Let's sing this song together today. A love song to America. We are amongst the very luckiest people in the history of humankind to be living here in this country in which so many of our freedoms are guaranteed, enshrined, and protected by the rule of law. It is a miracle, including this coming Tuesday, the right to cast a vote. Here we go. A song by Irving Berlin. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Sing it again. Here we go. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. America, my home, sweet home. Thank you, and have a wonderful